Right now, your brain is lying to you, not metaphorically, neurologically. Every color, every sound, every face you've ever seen has been fabricated by 3 pounds of tissue sitting in total darkness inside your skull. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how it does it, and why that changes everything about how you think about your own mind. Here's the basic problem. Your brain has no direct access to the outside world. None. It sits sealed inside your skull, receiving only electrical signals from your sensory organs. It never touches a tree. It never actually hears music. It never sees a sunset. All it ever gets are patterns of electrochemical pulses that it has to interpret and convert into what you experience as reality. The world you think you're perceiving right now is being assembled in real time from incomplete and often contradictory data. So how does it pull this off? How does your brain take fragmented electrical noise and turn it into a seamless experience of existing in a physical world? The answer is one of the most stunning discoveries in modern neuroscience, and it flips everything you assume about perception completely upside down. Your brain operates as a prediction machine. It is not passively receiving information from the world. It is constantly generating predictions about what it expects to encounter, and then comparing those predictions against incoming sensory data. The actual sensory information you receive is used mostly to correct errors in those predictions. Let that land for a second. You are not seeing the world as it is. You are seeing what your brain predicted the world would be, slightly updated by reality when the prediction turns out to be wrong. This framework, called predictive processing, reverses our intuitive understanding of perception. We assume our eyes take in light, our brain processes it, and then we see. But the actual direction of information flow is far more complex. Higher-level brain regions are constantly sending predictions downward, telling lower-level areas what they expect to find. The lower-level areas send back error signals only when reality doesn't match. Your conscious experience is the product of this constant back-and-forth negotiation between expectation and evidence. And here's where it gets personal. Because your brain is working with predictions, it means your prior experience, your cultural background, your emotional state, even the language you speak, all shape what you literally perceive. Two people can look at the exact same scene and their brains will construct two genuinely different visual experiences. This isn't opinion, this isn't interpretation. This is happening at the level of raw perception, before conscious thought even enters the picture. Scientists have demonstrated this with ambiguous images, visual stimuli that can be interpreted in multiple ways. Your brain doesn't sit on the fence. It commits to one interpretation, one constructed version of reality, and holds on to it until the evidence becomes too overwhelming to ignore. And once you've seen the other interpretation, you can flip back and forth, proving that your brain is choosing between competing constructions rather than receiving a single objective truth. But optical illusions are just the surface. What's underneath is something most people never think about, and honestly, it might be the most unsettling part of this entire video. Consider how your brain handles time. You would assume you experience events in the order they actually occur. But research shows your brain routinely reorders the timing of events to create a coherent narrative. There are documented cases where the brain's sense of which stimulus came first is actually reversed from physical reality. You experience a constructed chronology, not the actual sequence of events. Memory works the same way, and this is where things start to feel genuinely uncomfortable. Every time you remember something, you are not playing back a recording. You are reconstructing the event from fragments, and in doing so, you are updating and altering it. Memory is not storage. Memory is a creative act. Neuroscientists have shown that with the right suggestion, people can develop vivid, confident, detailed memories of events that never happened to them. And here's the disturbing part. those false memories feel exactly the same from the inside as real ones. The subjective experience of remembering something true and remembering something false is neurologically identical. If you're still with me, do me a quick favor and hit subscribe, because we go deep on topics like this regularly, and I promise you don't want to miss what's coming next. So if perception is a prediction and memory is a reconstruction, what does that say about your sense of self? This is where neuroscience starts colliding with some of the deepest questions humans have ever asked. Because it turns out your sense of being a continuous, unified self moving through time is also, in a very meaningful sense, a construction. Your brain receives information from dozens of different sensory channels, processes them in separate areas, and then integrates them into the feeling of a single unified experience. But this integration takes time, and the different systems don't always agree. There are neurological conditions that reveal the seams in this constructed self. People with certain types of brain damage report feeling detached from their own bodies, or watching themselves from outside, or feeling that one of their limbs doesn't belong to them. These aren't psychological quirks. They're windows into the machinery that normally runs seamlessly beneath our awareness to produce the feeling of being a self. Even your sense of agency, your feeling that you are the one choosing your actions, has been called into question. Studies measuring brain activity suggest that the neural preparation for a voluntary movement begins before the person consciously decides to move. Your brain starts acting before you're aware of having made a choice. Now, the interpretation of these results is genuinely contested, and nobody is claiming you have no agency whatsoever. But the findings do suggest that conscious experience, including the experience of deciding, may arrive slightly later than the underlying neural events. You may be narrating your own behavior more than you are purely directing it. Now, before you spiral into an existential crisis, here's the reframe that changes everything. The fact that reality is constructed doesn't make it fake or meaningless. Your brain's construction is extraordinarily accurate and adaptive. Evolution has been fine-tuning this system for hundreds of millions of years, and for the vast majority of situations you encounter, your constructed reality aligns closely enough with physical reality to be genuinely useful. The construction is the feature, not the bug. What it does change is the relationship you can have with your own experience. When you understand that perception is a prediction, you start to see how your mental state, your beliefs, your fears, and your expectations are not just coloring your experience. They are shaping the raw perceptual data you receive. Anxiety doesn't just make you feel bad. It literally changes what your brain predicts, which changes what you perceive, which can make the world feel genuinely more threatening. This is not weakness or irrationality. It's the predictive machinery operating exactly as designed, just calibrated to a threat environment that may no longer be accurate. This has profound implications for mental health, for learning, for creativity, and for how we understand each other. If your reality is constructed from your predictions, then changing those predictions, which is exactly what effective therapy, education, and transformative experience aim to do, literally changes your world. Not metaphorically, perceptually, at the level of experience itself. It also means the gap between your reality and someone else's is far larger than we typically assume. When two people look at the same political event, the same relationship conflict, the same piece of art, they are genuinely constructing different experiences. Their brains are running different simulations based on different histories, different expectations, different emotional priors. Disagreement isn't always a failure of logic. Sometimes it's a collision between two different constructed realities, each of which feels absolutely certain and obvious from the inside. And perhaps the deepest implication of all is this: consciousness itself, that inner felt sense of being as someone who is here and experiencing things, is almost certainly a construction too. one that your brain builds fresh each moment from a swirling collection of signals, memories, predictions, and narratives. There is no stable, unchanging experiencer sitting behind your eyes watching the show. There is only the show, constantly regenerating itself, mistaking itself for something permanent. That might sound unsettling, but sit with it for a moment, because there's something almost liberating hiding inside that idea. If the mind constructs reality, then the mind can also reconstruct it. Your experience of the world is not fixed. It is not handed to you from outside. It is made, moment by moment, by the most complex object in the known universe. And that object is you. Now, if this changed how you think about your own mind, I want to hear about it. Drop a comment telling me which part hit you the hardest, because I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time, because the next video goes even deeper. It's on screen right now. Click it and let's keep going.